My aunt mocked my small apartment in front of everyone and turned me into a family joke. Years later, her business failed, her house got foreclosed, and she showed up asking to stay. I simply refused. There's this family group chat I never asked to be in. I didn't join it. I was dragged in by my cousin Layla one Thanksgiving after 3 glasses of wine and a suspiciously forced smile. The next thing I knew, I was getting daily messages from a group named Sparkles. The Fam Sparkles. Yes, was Sparkles. That might as well have been called the passive-aggressive Olympics. It was the kind of chat where someone would post a photo of their brunch and 15 relatives would react with heart emojis like it was the second coming. When I posted my new work boots once I got 1 thumbs up from the Family Dogs account, my Aunt Pam was the unofficial ringleader of the circus. Pam was one of those women who wore pearls to Zoom calls, captioned everything in cursive font, and had an obsession with appearances that bordered on religious. If it wasn't Instagram Mabel, it didn't exist to her. And if it made someone else look bad, while she looked flawless, even better. Pam had always treated me like the family's cautionary tale. I didn't go to college. I didn't join the family business. I didn't become a dentist like her daughter Brooke, or a lifestyle coach like her other daughter, who somehow managed to monetize drinking green juice. No, I had the audacity to learn a trade, rent a modest apartment above a pawn shop, and start a small auto detailing business from scratch. That made me the black sheep. And Pam, she made sure the whole family knew it. It started small. Jabs at family dinners. We're all so proud of your little car thingy. Or don't worry, everyone starts somewhere. While patting my shoulder like I was a kid who drew a slightly wrong cat. I used to laugh it off. Humor was armor. But then came the picture. I was eating leftover noodles minding my own broke business after a long shift when my phone buzzed like a fire alarm. Someone had dropped a fresh photo into the family chat. Pam. It was a wide shot of the alley behind my old apartment. The rust-stained bricks, the busted AC unit, the crooked window blinds, my former world, and the caption, the black sheep's box, #humble beginnings. Then came the laughs. Brooke replied with, OMG, stop face with tears of joy. Layla added, not the box Elmo. Even my own mother dropped a crying laugh emoji, which was the most interaction she'd had with me in weeks. I stared at my screen like someone had punched me in the chest. It wasn't just a joke. It was a group roast, a full-on family stand-up session, and I was the headliner without even being in the room. I didn't respond. I just closed the chat, tossed my phone on the bed, and sat there breathing through the kind of quiet that makes your ears ring. Not because I didn't have a comeback. I had plenty, but because I was tired. Tired of pretending this stuff didn't sting. Tired of smiling through it like I was in on the joke. Truth was that box was where I ate beans out of a can at 23 because I was building a business from nothing. That box was where I spent nights designing flyers and YouTube ads for my auto service, while the rest of them passed the mashed potato bowl and asked if I was still doing the mechanic thing. But they didn't know that. They only saw what Pam posted. And Pam, she always posted what made her feel taller even if she had to step on someone else to do it. So I didn't clap back. Not yet. I just saved the screenshot and got back to work. Because if there's one thing being the black sheep teaches you, it's how to be quietly dangerous. And Pam was about to find out eventually that wolves don't bleed. We wait, and then we bite. By the time I moved out of that so-called black sheep's box, I had detailed 1,170 cars, changed oil on half of this city's old sedans, and saved almost every dime I wasn't using on rent or ramen noodles. The new place wasn't fancy, just a 2-car garage with a loft over it, but it had potential. It was mine, and it didn't share a wall with a guy named Vince who grilled sardines on a George Foreman at 3 a.m. I didn't post pictures. I didn't announce anything in the group chat. I learned early on that telling them anything only gave them something to twist. I like the silence. I like the privacy. Pam, of course, couldn't shut up. That same month, she posted her kitchen renovation with a caption like, nothing like a little marble to brighten your soul sparkles. A soul that looks suspiciously like a Pinterest sport. Brooke posted a mirror selfie from some rooftop restaurant. My mom added a chain message about how proud she was of all her kids. All of them except me. I just kept working. At this point, my business had grown to include 3 full-time Datalas, a scheduling assistant named Ty, who ran circles around everyone, and a handful of regulars who booked months in advance. I had returned clients' tips, even a few auto shops asking for partnership discounts. Word of mouth was gold, and for once, I didn't feel like I had to scream to be seen. But I still remembered the box photo. I'd left it pinned at the top of my gallery like a reminder not of shame, but of fuel. Every time I got tired, I'd look at that alley shot and think, this is what they think you'll always be. And then I'd book another job. It wasn't even about proving them wrong anymore. It was about building something real, something no one could take credit for or steal or mock. My tools, my team, my terms. Meanwhile, Pam kept her title as Queen of Condescension. During a family Zoom call for Grandma's birthday, she gave us all a little life update. She'd flipped her third house, launched a blog about elevated hosting, and was exploring a lifestyle brand opportunity. She looked directly into the camera and said, "We're so lucky to be thriving during such a tough time. Some of us, at least some of us." It took everything in me not to laugh, because what Pam didn't know, what none of them knew, was that I just bought a warehouse, a real one with 2 roll-up bays, a new lift system, a small office and room to expand. I had my name on the deed. It was 6 blocks away from Pam's neighborhood, and I'd gotten it for a steal from a retiring mechanic who liked my attitude. I didn't tell a soul. But the day I held those keys, I parked in front of it, leaned against the hood of my work truck, and just stared at the building. It was ugly. It needed paint. The back fence was half fallen, but it was mine. And for once, I didn't feel like the black sheep. I felt like the shepherd. Then, as if the universe couldn't resist a little dramatic timing, my phone buzzed again. Group chat. Pam had posted a new selfie. Her, in a sundress standing in front of a for sale sign. The caption, "On to the next adventure. Someone's going to love this cozy little home. Hashtag blessed to flip." I clicked through the listing out of curiosity. Price $925,000. Status pending. Open house that weekend. I zoomed in on the address. I knew that street. I knew that house. Pam was selling her place, and I happened to know exactly who owned the note on it. The wheels in my head started turning. Not with revenge, not yet, but with possibility. I didn't need to rub anything in her face. But if the day ever came, oh, I'd be ready. And when it came to Pam, it always did. Pam always looked like she had it all together. Hair sprayed within an inch of her life, smiles so tight it could slice granite, and a voice that could turn, bless your heart, into a dagger. But behind all that marble and mood lighting, things were starting to crack literally and financially. I wasn't stalking her. Let's make that clear. But when someone lives 6 blocks away, posts daily like a Kardashian in turn, and tags the local cafe you frequent, you pick up a few things like how she started using throwbacks more than usual. Can't believe this was us in Tulum last year, hashtag grateful instead of current pics. Or how Brooke suddenly posted about moving back, and with the rents for a bit, as if that was a quirky aesthetic choice and not a financial necessity. But the real clue, the day I ran into Pam at the hardware store, I was grabbing paint samples for the shop, navy steel gray, something classic, when I heard her voice behind me, arguing with the clerk. "I just need the receipt," she said, her voice tight. I returned those patio chairs. It should have processed by now. When she turned and saw me, her expression did this weird flicker, half surprise, half horror, like I was a ghost from the alley behind my old apartment. "Oh," she said. "Didn't recognize you without grease under your nails." I smiled. "Didn't recognize you without a ring light." She blinked. Score 1-0. We made small talk, painful, sticky small talk, while she scanned my cart like it was a lie. Finally, she said, "So you're still doing the, what do you call it, detail thing? Expanded, actually." I replied, "Bought a shop." Her smile froze like bad Botox. "Oh, well, that's nice. Everyone needs goals." She left without her receipt. The next day, someone in the family chat posted an old photo of me in that alley apartment again. No caption, just the image. Pam replied first, a classic face with tears of joy. "He really made it work, didn't he?" I stared at the screen. This time, no burning in my chest. No sting, just boredom. Because mocking the past doesn't work when your present is thriving. But some people only know how to punch down even if they're already sinking. I didn't respond again. Instead, I kept building. We finished painting the shop that weekend. I designed a killer logo, and I got a new sign. Hum, bold, metallic, unapologetic. The first client through the new doors tipped $200 and said, "This place looks better than the dealership." By week's end, we had a wait list. And Pam, well, her next post was a life update. A long caption about pivoting out of real estate and focusing on family, layered over a filtered photo of her holding a glass of wine in a nearly empty kitchen. That pending listing fell through. The new open house canceled. Word around town was the renovations weren't up to code. One neighbor said Pam cut corners, used cheap materials, unlicensed labor. She flipped fast and pretty, not well. And now the house was sitting, and her debt was not. Still, she kept posting like nothing was wrong. But the tone changed. Gone were the marble countertop photos. Now it was sunsets and deep thoughts and reposts about resilience. And then she disappeared from the chat. No posts, no selfies, not even snide comments. When Layla's engagement announcement came through, just silence, until one afternoon I got a DM from Ty. "Bro, is this your aunt attached?" Was a blurry image, a foreclosure notice taped to a door. I zoomed in. There it was. Pam's address in big bold letters. Bank name, red ink, final warning. Ty bless him. Didn't know the history, just thought it was some weird neighborhood drama. But me, I just sat there staring at the screen, heart steady, no grin, no rage, just peace. Because karma doesn't need a billboard. Sometimes it tapes itself to your door. The foreclosure notice lived in my gallery for exactly 4 hours before I opened the family chat again. And yep, it was still alive, still cursed. Layla had just posted a blurry photo of her new engagement ring, grainy over-filtered but flooded with pink heart emojis. Brooke commented, "OMG, you deserve this, babe." And my mom followed up with, "So beautiful, just like our family." I almost laughed. Our family, the one that never mentioned me unless someone wanted to tag a joke or bring up a humble beginnings throwback. I scrolled up a bit. The last post from Pam had been 3 weeks ago, a fake deep quote about surrendering to the universe with a stock photo of a sunset that wasn't even from her backyard. Since then, silence, no new listings, no green juice selfies, no perfectly plated chicken. That would have been enough for me. Truly, I don't believe in punching down even if someone like Pam deserves a spiritual slap with a frozen tilapia. But then, Brooke, oh sweet overpriced private college. Brooke decided to resurrect the past. She posted the alley photo again. Classic vibes, black heart miss these days. LOL. And Pam. She reemerged like a mosquito in July. Ah, yes. The original Black Sheep's box. LOL. You were always such a trooper. Trooper. Like I'd been drafted into poverty. Like my entire existence was some aesthetic she could meme for family clout. 3 laughing emojis, 4 likes. That was when I stopped chewing my sandwich and calmly wiped my fingers on a napkin. I went to my gallery, opened the foreclosure picture, then I opened my notes app, wrote 1 line, then I dropped both into the chat. First the image, Pam's house, front porch, bright red foreclosure sticker taped crookedly across her. Welcome sign. No filter. No edits. Just raw, brutal reality. Then the message. And that's her box. Silence. For a solid minute, no one replied. Then one by one, reactions started dropping off the previous posts. Likes vanished. Emojis disappeared. Finally, Layla. Wait, is this real? Then my mom, where did you get this? Then Brooke, that's illegal, isn't it? Like posting stuff like that? And finally, Pam herself. No emoji this time. I don't think this is appropriate for family, I replied once more. Neither was laughing at my apartment, but here we are. Then I left the group. Just clicked leave conversation with a casual thumb tap and tossed my phone across the couch like I just dropped the mic in front of a stadium. I didn't check my phone for hours after that. When I did, I had 17 missed messages from my mom, 3 from my cousin Ethan, and just one from Pam. You've always been petty? I didn't respond. Not because she didn't deserve a reply, but because I didn't need to. The photos said everything. And if they wanted to call me petty for defending myself after years of digs, so be it. I prefer the term historically accurate. And you know what's funny? That same week, Ty and I hosted a soft launch event at the news shop. We offered a free detail to the first 5 walk-ins and passed out flyers with our logo stamped in gold foil. People lined up down the block. Some of them even asked if we did commercial fleet contracts. I stood in my own building, music playing, tools lined up, and realized I didn't feel like the black sheep anymore. I felt like the wolf who built his own den. The thing about my family is that they don't apologize. Not directly. Anyway, they do this weird little ritual, where instead of saying sorry, they try to act like nothing ever happened. Like the entire internet didn't witness them being petty gremlins in high definition. So when I dropped Pam's foreclosure photo in the chat and left, I knew it wouldn't end there. 4 hours later, my phone buzzed. Mom, can we talk? Just us. Classic opener. That just us nonsense always came right before a gaslight sandwich. I didn't answer. 6 hours after that, a second message. I think your aunt is going through a hard time. Maybe we all said things we didn't mean. Oh, now it was a we situation. The woman who once sent me a PDF of entry-level trade careers as a birthday gift now wanted to come by over group chat drama. I still didn't respond. The next day, a call. Cousin Ethan. Now Ethan and I had always been neutral. He didn't participate in the family roast sessions, but he didn't stop them either. He was the Switzerland of passive-aggressive text chains. I let it ring once, twice, then picked up. "Hey, I said bro," he exhaled. "That post was intense." "Which part? The joke or the foreclosure notice?" "I mean both." Silence stretched. He tried again. "Pam's pretty pissed. Said she might sue you for defamation." I almost dropped my coffee. Defamation. The photo was real. The sign was real. Her hypocrisy also real. "I'm not saying it wasn't deserved," he said quickly. "Just, you know how she is. She doesn't let stuff go. She should have let the group chat go when she posted a picture of my old apartment and laughed about it. But here we are." Another pause, then softer. "Look, some of us were just following her lead." There it was. That quiet little confession, wrapped in a coward's bow. I didn't yell, didn't guilt trip, I just said. "And some of us were just trying to survive in that box you all joked about." He didn't have much to say after that, but apparently Pam did, because a few hours later, a new message thread popped up on my screen. No emojis, no alley jokes, just Pam's overly formal paragraph. "Hi, all. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge that things have been tense recently. Emotions ran high. Words were exchanged, but as a family, we should rise above conflict. Let's focus on love and growth." Ah yes, the corporate HR apology. The kind of message you'd expect after someone spilled a latte on the CEO, not after a year of subtle psychological warfare. I said nothing. Then another message followed from Brooke. "Hey, I looked at your news shop's page. It looks amazing. Really proud of you." Now that one that caught me off guard. The same girl who once called my apartment a glorified utility closet now wanted to compliment my business. I typed, deleted, typed again. Finally, I settled on, "Thanks. We opened fully next month. Bookings already full, sent short, controlled, polished." Because I wasn't here for redemption arcs or group hugs, I didn't burn bridges. I just stopped patching the ones they set on fire. That night, Ty and I stayed late at the shop. We installed a new coffee machine in the front lobby, set up a little waiting nook with magazines, and cleaned the glass till it gleamed like a car show window. "You good?" Ty asked, tossing me a soda. "Yeah," I nodded. Just deleting old group chats from my head, he grinned. "Family drama. You could say that." Then we turned the music up and got back to building something no group chat could tear down. Success doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it just looks like routine, a packed schedule, satisfied clients, and a workshop that smells like coffee, tire rubber, and air freshener instead of desperation and ramen. A few months after the group chat incident, life settled into something calm. No chaos, no snide texts, no photos of alleys with sheep emojis, just normal. I liked it. Business was steady. The crew worked like a machine. Clients brought donuts on Saturdays. One even handed Ty a $500 tip for being more reliable than her ex-husband. We had a flow. And then Pam's name popped up again, not in a text, but through the front doors of my shop. Not her personally. No, Pam wouldn't dare, but someone close enough. Her old real estate agent. Tall guy. Pressed button-down, walked like he'd sold condos to Kardashians. He waltzed in asking about detailing for his fleet. Said he'd heard about our service from a friend in the neighborhood. He didn't say who, but I could guess. I was in the waiting area flipping through invoices when I overheard him talking to Ty. "She still owes on the kitchen Reno, used fake quartz painted over water damage. Now she's ghosting vendors." Ty blinked. "Wait, who?" "Pam something lived over on Mulberry. Always wore heels to her own open houses." "Yeah, she's circling the drain." I leaned forward slightly, pretending to sip my coffee. He kept going. "She tried to stage a fake sale on Zillow, like listed it under a different name just to bluff the bank. Amateur hour." Ty didn't say anything, but he did glance over at me. I raised one eyebrow. The guy chuckled. "Anyway, what do I need to do to get 5 cars done monthly?" We signed a deal that day, but in my head, all I could hear was fake sale. Bluff, circling the drain. That night, I went home and sat in my living room. No longer an alley apartment, no rusted pipes, just me, a cold soda, and a brain spinning with every red flag Pam had ever waved like it was a fashion accessory. I wasn't obsessed. I wasn't plotting. I just watched. Her social media became increasingly unhinged. She posted memes about resilience through struggle, inspirational quotes about bouncing back harder, and a suspicious number of throwbacks to vacations she clearly wasn't taking anymore. Every photo was either years old or shot in corners of her house that didn't show much. And then, she posted a selfie in front of someone else's house, tagging it. New beginnings. The comments confused sparse. A couple bots, maybe one real friend saying gorgeous place. But no follow-up, no listing info, no proud caption, just a smile and a lie. I showed Ty. He squinted. Isn't that from Pinterest? I reverse searched it. It was. The mask was slipping hard. Meanwhile, I was posting real stuff. Client shoutouts, crew pics, our holiday discount flyer. No filters, just work, just reality. And guess which posts were getting shared in local business groups? Spoiler, not Pam. I'd spent years swallowing digs from people who thought they'd always be above me. And suddenly I wasn't beneath anyone. Not by luck, not by inheritance, by grit. Still, I didn't gloat. Okay, maybe a little, but privately, with good lighting, until one night I got a knock at the door. Late, quiet. When I opened it, I saw someone I hadn't seen face to face in over a year. Brooke, mascara smudged hair a mess, jacket slipping off one shoulder, and behind her Pam in a borrowed car, head down like the wind had finally stopped blowing in her direction. The knock came around 9:17 p.m. That's how sharply I remember it, because I wasn't expecting anyone, and because quiet doesn't knock unless it's planning something. I looked through the peephole and blinked twice. Brooke, hair pulled into a messy knot, wearing a jacket she clearly borrowed from someone smaller. Her hand hovered awkwardly mid-air like she couldn't decide whether to knock again or run. And behind her, slouched in the passenger seat of a beat-up Corolla parked half on the curb, was Pam. I opened the door just enough to lean against the frame. Didn't say a word. Hey, Brooke offered, trying to smile. It came out uneven. I know it's late. Sorry. I didn't respond, just waited. Let the silence do what years of sarcasm never could. She glanced back at the car, then at me again. We've been staying with friends, but it's not a permanent thing, more like a favor. Still waiting. I know things between you and Mom are complicated. That made me laugh. Just once, dry and quick. Complicated was a word people used when they didn't want to say cruel. Pam stepped out of the car slowly, like dignity weighed too much now. She didn't say anything, just walked up behind Brooke and kept her eyes fixed on the pavement like it had secrets. Brooke sighed, pressing forward. We were wondering if maybe you'd let us stay just for a bit, a few nights even. I mean, you've got the space now, right? There it was, he asked. The one they swore they'd never make. The one they thought they'd never have to. I looked at Brooke, then Pam. Pam's mouth twitched, not in a smile, more like a muscle spasm from swallowing too much pride. Her pearls were gone. So was the usual smugness. All that was left was this pale, stiff woman who looked like she hadn't slept in her own bed for weeks. I remember, I said slowly, when you posted a photo of my apartment, called it the Black Sheep's box. Remember that? Pam didn't flinch. She winced and everyone laughed. You especially, I said, nodding toward her. Even added the sheep emoji. Classy touch. People joke, she muttered, voice. Horse. That's what families do. No, I said calmly. Families support, parasites joke. Brooke started. We know it was wrong. Do you? I interrupted. Because when I lived in that box, I wasn't just broke. I was invisible. You all treated me like an embarrassment, something to roast, not respect. Either of them spoke. You mocked where I slept. I continued. You never asked how I was doing, never checked if I needed help. But now that your house is gone, your listings are fake. Your bluff didn't work. Now you remember my address. Brooke looked down. Pam's lip trembled. I almost felt something. Almost. But then I remembered nights eating dinner on the floor, working triple shifts just to afford car shampoo in bulk, watching them post poolside pictures while I scrubbed fenders under parking lot lights. And I remembered that alley photo. I stepped back slightly from the door, not to invite them in, but to give my next words room to echo. No. Brooke's eyes widened. Wait, no, I repeated. I don't do pop and redemption arcs. I'm not a shelter for people who once made me feel homeless in my own bloodline. Pam finally looked up, her voice barely a whisper. We didn't think it would come to this. Neither did I said. But here we are. Brooke opened her mouth again, but I was done. I stepped back, closed the door with the same calm they used when posting me names about my life. No anger, no yelling, just finality. Through the window, I watched them walk back to the car. Pam didn't even get in right away. She stood there for a second like she needed to catch her breath. Like consequences were heavier than they looked on paper. I didn't gloat. Didn't fist pump. I just locked the door, turned off the porch light, and let the silence return, because for once, the silence was mine. The next morning, I woke up to 5 missed calls. 2 from Mom, 1 from Ethan, and 2 from a private number that I'd bet my shop was Pam, using someone else's phone. No voicemails, just silence. Like even their excuses were finally running on empty. I made coffee, ate breakfast, took my time. It was a sunny day, clear crisp. The kind of morning that used to make me feel like I was missing something, like everyone else was ahead, and I was just trying to find my shoes. Now I wasn't missing anything. I was booked for the week. My crew was on time and my name was on the sign out front. Still a part of me itched. Not revenge, not anger, closure. So I sat down, opened the family group chat, the original one still there like a relic of every petty joke and ignored milestone. And for the first time in months, I typed. No memes, no sarcasm, just a photo. It was a side-by-side left. The grainy picture of my alley apartment Pam had posted, complete with her caption. The black sheep's box right, the photo I took the night before. The foreclosure notice, her name on it, her address, the truth. And below it, one line. Boxes come in all sizes. Just depends who's laughing. I hit send. Left the group again for good this time. Then I muted the thread, blocked Pam's number, and walked outside into the sun. At the shop, Ty handed me a coffee and grinned. You see, our latest review, I hadn't. He read it aloud. 5 stars, professional, fast, and honest. If you're tired of fake people and fake polish, go here instead. I raised an eyebrow. Someone's been burned. Maybe. Ty shrugged. But they still tipped 100. That day, we serviced a luxury SUV, detailed a food truck, and hosted our first workshop for young mechanics from the community college. They asked questions, took notes, and called me. Sir, the same guy who once slept next to a water heater, now had kids asking him how to build something of their own. And as I watched them leave, backpacks full, eyes bright, I realized I didn't care what the group chat said anymore. Let Pam keep her silence. Let the rest pretend they never meant it like that. I wasn't here to rewrite history, I was here to own the damn building. And when people ask me how I handled family drama, I just smile and say, sometimes the black sheep just builds their own farm.